few seconds before I start talking because then I gotta get it like in place. All right. Hey guys, so you are all going to be the very first listeners to the Mod Squad Moms. This is my beautiful friend Deneen, and I am Julie, and we are here just basically kind of talking about our journeys with fitness, how we got into this, and how we make this work, not just for the athletes, not just for those who, want to get fit. We make this a possibility for everyone and kind of our experience. We're also moms, so we also know how difficult it can be working with, Deneen has sports schedules, crazy soccer schedules. I have a crazy 4-year-old that I love, but she also makes life a little difficult. And I have my 9-year-old, so we also deal with those schedules as well. So we're here just kind of talking about our life, and we're so excited to have you guys join us. So Miss Deneen is a yoga instructor. She, I know her from working at Orange Theory. We met, we fell in love, and now we have this wonderful relationship, and it's super fun. She's had her journey this year all about yoga, and she just finished a 200-hour program, which is amazing. I can't even imagine doing 200 hours of yoga. I love it. It just has a lot of studying. So I'm mad props to her, and so we're just kind of here talking. So go ahead, Deneen, let you talk.
I don't know what to talk about.
We can talk about how delicious this Ohio wine is.
It is delicious. It's very good. From
It is.
Amish country. I don't know if we're allowed to give props, but Sweet Thunder.
That is not.
Sweet Thunder, Swiss Heritage Winery. Very delicious.
It is
delicious.
Very delicious. It's not Richard Simmons on the front,
No,
although I thought it
it's
was.
not.
It is not. It would be appropriate if it was, though, because of our series.
Yes.
Yes, we love it. It's delicious. It's a nice.
A little bit of wine in moderation is good for you. It's actually
Of course
good.
it is.
Yeah.
A little wine at 11 o'clock in the morning is also very good for you.
Perfect.
On a Wednesday?
Yeah. Start your day out right.
I know.
It's good.
I think it's a great idea. Makes you all loose for those exercises later, you know?
That's right.
A little down dog, a little yoga, a little
Yeah.
wine. I mean, it's just like all fits in.
Yeah.
Well, hi.
I want to some music.
Okay, well, I'll get you your music in a second. So that's my 4-year-old, because this is life. And they just, she always pops up. Can say hi, Emmy?
Hi.
Yes.
I
Hey,
want-
go get Sissy's Nintendo Switch, and I'll show you Minecraft. Go, hurry up. Hurry up. And there's our life. So, we decided to create this series because, one, she's truly my spirit animal, and I totally love her, and we come from, and we have so many different beliefs on so many different things,
Yes.
and how we approach our training, how we work with our clients, and why not have a little time to ourselves where we talk to you guys, we drink wine at 11 o'clock on Wednesday. So for me, my kind of journey began with, I had a really bad accident, had my knee crushed in an accident, and I have had several surgeries. I have been the person that has walked into a Group X class and thought, oh my gosh, I can't do any of this stuff because nothing wrong with the instructor. It was just there was no modifications that were given for me. And I remember that last feeling of feeling like I can't do any of this. So what my doctors have said that I can't do any of this is definitely how I feel. It wasn't until I was introduced to an amazing friend who showed me what was possible with just learning how to work my body in the way that I wasn't going to injure my knee any further. And that kind of blew into me losing a ton of weight, learning how to schedule meals, how to meal prep for my family. I was a new mom with 2 kids, and I found a love for fitness. And now I am a corrective exercise specialist. I am a certified personal trainer. I teach several different groups or Group X classes, and I work with every type of person possible, and my favorite clientele is those who feel like they can't do this stuff. So we're here to just kind of talk to you about like what happens when we can do this stuff. Yes.
Find the channel for anywhere.
And I will start with my fitness journey. I had just had 2 babies myself, and I had a little one, and he was 2 at the time, and not feeling like I could lose the weight, and not feeling, again, like I am successful in fitness at all. And my sister introduced me to a format called Zumba. And being a former cheerleader, it spoke to me, and obviously I really, really loved it. And so my very first class was my actual licensing day. So I went to the Zumba workshop, got certified, or licensed rather, and became a Zumba instructor. And that was the first time that I had really looked at the format, felt the format, but I knew that I had to do something with it because it was fitness that was accessible to everyone. And anybody and everyone could do this and have fun and also lose weight, which is a wonderful, wonderful side effect of any kind of fitness, but especially one that you love going to. So I started in Zumba, and I was an instructor for, I think at the time, roughly 6 years. And I moved to Akron, Ohio from Somerset, Kentucky, that's where I was licensed in Kentucky, and continued to teach Zumba, and then fell in love with all sorts of other formats. Like I fell in love with Tabata, and then I found yoga. And I found that yoga made me feel balanced. From doing those hardcore exercises, it really helped to balance me out. And another thing that I noticed is it made me stronger in the other formats as well. I felt not only recovered from the exercises that I did on the day before or a couple days before, I also felt like I could approach the class feeling stronger or more confident in my body's ability to function. So it was a wonderful, wonderful side effect. Loved it. And also just the meditative aspects of yoga, not to get too crazy on you, but just the meditative aspects from feeling calm and being able to approach my day with a fresh and clear mind. And so yoga has been very, very crucial to my journey, not only in fitness, talking about recovery, and also feeling stronger for the classes as well, but just being able to approach life in a calmer way.
Well, and it's been amazing. So Deneen and I have known each other for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in January, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So we have known each other for a while, and it has been, I think, one of the things that I always find so fascinating about, getting to know people and getting to know their journeys is finding or just seeing how different things impact their lives.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to see Deneen switch over to not so much of the group X high intensity fitness instruction training, but instead going into that yoga flow and that yoga training. And it has just been one of the most amazing things. She's dealt with health issues. She's dealt with, thyroid and all that good stuff that comes with it, food sensitivity issues. She's had her fair share. It hasn't been, the easiest thing. And I think for me, even today when she came in, I was like, oh my gosh, just some of the changes and finding like what's going to work for her. I noticed immediately in her skin. I noticed how like she looked and how, good she just seems to feel. Like you can just feel somebody's energy change. And that has been just part of her journey that I've seen from her taking that yoga. It's almost like it's a completely different Deneen has taken over with everything. You look amazing, and and that is the journey of, a healthy lifestyle, is finding what is going to work for you, what is going to impact your journey, what is going to bring you happiness. And I feel like I have been a witness to your happiness journey over the last year. It's been so cool to see how the yoga has impacted things, and your yoga or your the diet, figuring out what's working for you.
Definitely.
Has just
Diet's huge.
yeah, nutrition.
Huge.
I really wish that Oreo cookies would be like...
Wish they were too. And I wish that we could have more of this and it would fit within our macros, but...
Exactly. It doesn't want to. It doesn't. No. I want to eat all the pasta. I want to eat all the lasagna.
Yeah.
I want to eat all the chocolate cake.
And
I
ice
want to have
cream.
beautiful skin.
Yeah.
And a teeny tiny little waist. But that's not going to happen.
No.
No, unfortunately.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Body love, body acceptance.
That's right. Everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation. Don't ever cut it out. Because you know what? You're just going to be miserable.
Sure.
And who really wants to live through life being 2% body fat, but yet not ever getting to experience a molten hot chocolate lava cake?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
yes.
True that.
Just,
Yeah.
everything in moderation.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So cool. So it's interesting. So we come from two different backgrounds of fitness. I am the one who I love high energy cheerleading, drill sergeant classes. I'm high intensity. That is like my thing. There is nothing greater than walking into a class and being like, oh, you guys have so much fun to do today. We're going to do my favorite exercise. We got burpees. And then everybody just like, that's not fun. Yes, it is. And then we have Deneen, and she also teaches Tabata, and she's amazing at this. But she gets like the Zumba, she does the Latin dancing, she does, she's got yoga down. So she trains in a completely different way than what I do. Strength is my forte. And she is all about body movement and flexibility, and it is just really cool. So, when I'm having issues, I love the fact that like I can talk to her and be like, okay, so this is what we're doing. What would you recommend, as good stretches for this? Like, what are you going to recommend, for somebody who's saying like, all right, I've had an entire week of high intensity training. I've been lifting weights like crazy. My muscles are tight. Like my body feels tired. I go to my lovely Deneen and say, what do I do? And she lets me know what needs to happen. So how do you incorporate yoga into a high intensity training program, or somebody that does tend to lift weights? They want to do more of that stuff, but they also need more of the flexibility. So what is your recommendation to incorporate that?
So instead of your rest day, take a yoga day. That is my first recommendation. So because it's not really working your muscles in the same way, so you're not going to injure yourself at all. You're going to recover. You're going to rehab your muscles by doing yoga. And so that's what I would say, first and foremost, instead of your rest day, consider it a yoga day. And so it's two benefits, right? So you're resting your body, recovering your body, rehabbing your body. And so it doesn't have to be intense yoga. It doesn't have to be crazy. Even you just sit down on the floor and have some quiet time to yourself initially, and then just do some stretches. It doesn't have to be a certain format for yoga, because that's not what yoga is about primarily. Yoga is about just feeling like, obviously it's looking inward and meditative and all of that, but it's just really taking a moment for yourself, however that is, and it doesn't have to be a certain format. There's lots and lots and lots of great information on YouTube. There's also tons of wonderful books that talk about yoga, or look up sun salutations and do 5 sun salutations. That's yoga, So
I love that, because I think a lot of people, if they are not used to doing yoga, if they haven't had that experience, there's 2 things that come to mind. Some people feel that they can't, that the idea of yoga is, and I get this all the time because it happens when I teach Paya, is a lot of people say, well, I can't. Yoga is just boring for me. It lets my mind think too much, or I have those.
And that's the point.
Yes, you're supposed to let your mind think.
Right.
You're supposed to give yourself those like white space moments.
Yes.
To gather those thoughts. Don't shy away from those. Everybody needs that time to actually let the mind really kind of go and do its thing. I think the other thing too is a lot of people look at the yoga videos that show power yoga.
Yeah.
Power yoga is awesome. Power yoga can definitely, it's definitely a workout. It's not necessarily meant for everybody, and that's not where you want to start out in. Like, you want to start out, yoga is meant for stretch. It's meant for flexibility.
And it's for everybody. And there's different ways to approach yoga. You don't even have to get up off of the floor. You don't have to go up, down, up, down, up, down at all. You could stay on the floor the entire time if that's what you want. And there's lots of yoga that will do that for you. You can do a sun salutation and not even have to stand.
That's crazy.
It's fantastic.
Did you hear that, all my wrist injury people?
Yes.
You don't have to be in down dog in order to do that. Because that's the other thing too, is a lot of people I hear, shoulder issues, neck issues,
they're afraid,
wrist issues. They're so afraid that they're going to walk into a class and not be able to do any of this stuff, because everything that they're doing is all things that are, that bother them.
Right.
So when you have those kind of people in class, how do you option out the class so that they're able to do, you know, that kind of stuff? So you take everything off the floor and...
So if I know that, and I have a lot, at one place that I teach, I have a lot of older adults that are above the age of 50 that do have knee replacements, hip replacements, they have back issues, they have neck issues, they have shoulder issues, and you name it, they have it. And so I do a sun salutation where we're just doing a child's pose and then coming into tabletop and then taking our chin down to the mat, which is called chin and chest, and then going back into child's pose, back to tabletop, and just doing a flow like that. That would be a sun salutation. And just sitting, hands at heart center, and having some quiet time. That can also be like your mountain pose or Tadasana pose. So lots of variations where you don't have to get up off the floor, and lots of twisting. If you have a back injury, it depends on your back injury of whether or not you want to do a twisting. Always check with your doctor first. But lots of twisting typically is very good for lower back issues, typically, as is up dog. You could do up dog, though, where you are using the blocks, or you can go on your fists so you're not hurting your wrists at all. And you don't have to stay there for very long, you know, just as long as your wrist can take it or your forearms can take it. And so those are some variations right there where you don't even really have to get up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So wrist people, hear that? You guys can do yoga. That is a possibility. It's just finding, you know, the other thing too is if you're going to go to a yoga class, make sure that you're going to somebody that is well educated. So when it comes down to attending these classes, exercise is meant for everybody. It is. There is not one exercise, unless you're taking a complete plyometrics class, that isn't meant for everyone. It's just finding the well-educated trainer that's going to come in, that you can come and talk to before class and say, listen, this is what's going on, this is what I've got dealing with, what are going to be the recommendations, or what do I need to anticipate optioning out for myself. You know, feel free to talk to those trainers, get to know who you're working with, get to know those instructors in class, because you don't want to be the person in the back of the room feeling like, I can't do any of this. There is no worse feeling than feeling like a failure at something you haven't even begun. This is such an amazing journey. There is so much happiness that can come. I know it sounds crazy, but there is so much happiness that can come from exercise. Yeah,
So
nobody likes
true.
to do it. Nobody wants to actually start or go down into their basement or go to the gym and work out. But guess what? Every single time you go, what happens when you leave? You feel amazing, don't you?
Yeah,
I mean,
you
when
don't have a frown on your face when you leave.
You don't. It's just, it's impossible that you leave and be like, I hated that. That was stupid. I shouldn't have done a workout.
Even if you hated it, you're still going to feel good.
Exactly. Seriously. And, you know, it's just, it's that feeling of accomplishment. But getting that accomplishment is being able to feel comfortable enough talking to your instructors, talking to your trainers, finding those well-educated places that you can go where you know, okay, I'm safe in here.
Making sure that, especially with yoga, that they have a 200-hour certification.
Yes.
200
Very
hour.
important.
Just because the education is way more than a weekend certification of yoga. And we learn anatomy, and we learn how the body reacts to certain poses, and also learning about modifications that we need to do for our clients as well.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
so important. And always tell the trainer or the yoga instructor, depending on what class you're going to, that you do have an issue and that you do need to make modifications, and they will help you through that. So always be forthright with the instructor.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We won't know that anything's wrong
Unless you tell us.
Yeah. Yes. And if you are ever in a class and you do have those issues and you're not comfortable with talking to that instructor, and if they push for heavier weights, listen to your body. Always listen to your body. Don't do what everybody does. If the trainer says you need to go heavier in those weights, don't go heavier in those weights. If you aren't familiar with those moves, if you aren't familiar with how your body feels, don't do it.
Right.
Keep yourself, I always say in my classes, form over weights. Any day, every day.
Or form over speed.
Yes,
Yeah.
form over speed. That's the other one.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
don't have to go fast through exercises. Isometric is an amazing, powerful way to approach exercise. And
Yes.
people don't even realize an isometric is just stillness. That's what it means. And so holding
Yeah.
the pose, holding a squat, a wall sit.
right.
You're shaking.
Yeah. Bar is an effective class And they're tiny, teeny, tiny little movements. There is nothing crazy in a barre class, but your body's shaking because you're just...
Mom said I can play some music.
That's fine. Just not loud. Life with a 4-year-old. That's all right. Yeah, so, just be smart about those things. Feel comfortable, and take the time to find an instructor that you feel like you can mesh well with, that you feel that you can form that relationship. A relationship with your instructor can really, really change how you view your workouts. And stretch. Make sure you're taking time to stretch. Don't leave an exercise and say, I'm good for the day. It is the most important part of an exercise. Hands down, one of the things that I see all the time is people leaving as soon as I say, all right, class is done. Class isn't done. We got to cool down now. We got to bring that heart rate down. We got to make sure that you're breathing. You walk away from this not lightheaded. We want to make sure that your muscles are stretched so that you don't go home and, yes, delayed onset muscle soreness will happen. That's what happens.
Yoga helps with that.
Yes, yoga helps with DOMS.
Yoga helps to move the lactic acid through your muscles.
We want to do that. That's right.
Sorry.
Yes. No, I like that. I like that. Yeah, don't be afraid of the soreness. And don't sit on the soreness either. If you're sore, don't lay in bed or lay on the couch and not do anything.
No rest day. No rest day after you're sore.
No,
Go
stretch. Move.
Yeah.
You will feel so much better.
Yeah.
It will break it up. It'll be awesome. So you got to remember, don't skip the cool down. Don't just jet out of there. You have to stretch. That's how you get big muscles. That's how you make your body feel amazing. That's how you, cut down on injuries, because nobody wants an injury.
Yes, it truly, truly, truly helps to cut down on injuries. And also helps with breath control as well. Not only just in daily life, but if you are focusing on your inhale and your exhale during your stretch, you're just going to breathe better during your workout as well, because you subconsciously will be like, oh, I am flexing, therefore I need to exhale. Or I am extending, therefore I need to inhale. And so just stretching in general will teach you to subconsciously control your breath during the workouts.
And you know what that breath control also helps with? When your kids come home from school and they want to fight. And then you have to yell because they don't want to listen. But if you have breath control, you take those nice deep breaths in, you can feel like somewhat of a sane person.
Yeah, that's true.
It can happen.
That's true.
Yeah. A little wine and a little breath control just does wonders for the day.
Yeah, it does. Especially with teenage boys sometimes.
Yeah. She's got that. No, thank you. We'll talk in a few years when I've got the girls.
Yeah.
2 teenage girls. And
yeah.
Lord help me. Is there a boarding school I can send them off to?
I think so. I think so.
There's like
Western
a place...
Reserve in Hudson, I think.
Okay, well there you go. You know what? I think that's where I'm just gonna go ahead and enroll them now. I think that'll be fine. They can have them when they turn 13, and then I'll get them back when they're like 21. I mean, like it'll be perfect. Yeah. Then my sanity will stay intact.
It's all good.
It is.
Much love for our children.
Absolutely, we love our kids. We
keep us alive.
They do. They keep us alive. They keep things entertaining.
And they keep things entertaining. That's right.
Yeah. My classes love me because I always come in with stories. I always have some story of my darling little Emerson. Always something exciting happening. Even my Brooklyn is quite something as well. So it's never a dull moment, and I wouldn't give back any of them. I don't know. Have anything else?
No, I think we're good.
I think that's it. I know. So thank you so much for tuning in for our first series. This will be a weekly thing. And yes, there's Emmy. So thank you so much for joining us. We are the Mod Squad Moms.
Hi.
And
Hi.
cheers.
Hello.